Welcome students to our edition of Uni Talks. Today we're happy to have University College Cork. Colette is here representing the school, the university, and we're very happy to have a chance to again share our most popular questions coming from students and giving you all a chance to learn much more about University College Cork. Welcome, Colette. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everybody.
And if I may, sorry, Colette, I interrupted you, but welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, so hello everybody, and thank you for the opportunity, Rodrigo, to speak to everybody. My name is Colette Coughlin. I'm the International Manager for the College of Arts, Celtic Studies and Social Sciences at University College Cork in Ireland. There are 4 colleges in total in the university, covering medicine and health, business and law, and also the College of Science, Engineering and Food Science. So a very comprehensive university. We cover all disciplines and all subjects of interest. So I'd be delighted to answer the questions and help students on their way to hopefully study at University College Cork.
That is great. Thank you very much. All right, so let's start with our first question, which refers to the number of nationalities that can be found at UCC, and I'm pretty sure it's very international.
It's indeed. We welcome students from over 104 countries around the world. In total, we welcome over 4,000 international students each year, and we also have, as a university, over 22,000 students on campus. So international students do represent a great proportion of our student base across undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD study, and we also have what's called a junior year abroad, where students can study for either a spring semester or an autumn semester. We have a great Latin American community, great community for students from Brazil, from Mexico, all parts of Latin America. So students do really feel at home. They feel that they belong at University College Cork when they settle in. We provide a great orientation and a welcome for all our international students. So they are well guided and settle in once they join in September of each year.
That's great. And that's exactly the impression I have from particular. And still on a little bit of geography, can you talk a little bit about your location?
Yes, so Cork is located in the southernmost tip of Ireland. So it is the second capital, but we like in Cork to say we are the real capital of Ireland. We are the largest county in Ireland, and we really do have everything that a cosmopolitan city such as Dublin has, but we also have a beautiful countryside. We've award-winning beaches. We are known as the food capital of Ireland as well. So we really excel in, I suppose, culture. Cork City is very vibrant for music festivals, film festivals, and we have a large number of theatres, museums, art galleries, so a really culturally vibrant city. In fact, in a recent study in European standards, Cork over-indexes in terms of its culture and number of festivals that it has on offer. So it's a beautiful city. It's a port city, so a lot of ships, a lot of cruise ships arrive into Cork City, and Cork has been known by the Lonely Planet that it is the most friendliest city in Ireland. So everything that you associate with Ireland, the warm welcome, the really friendly people. You get that in Cork City. So it's a mix of a cosmopolitan city, but also a really traditional city as well. So lots for students, and culturally, students from Brazil really love and settle into Cork very well.
And in terms of getting to Cork, would you say the easiest way for international students would be through Dublin and then train, bus? Can you talk a little bit about access?
Yes, so depending on the international flights out of Brazil, students can fly into Dublin
Hmm.
and or into perhaps another European city, perhaps like Amsterdam, and then into Cork. There's a direct flight from Cork to Amsterdam, so that
Mm.
it could be feasible. University College Cork is about 10 minutes from the international airport, and the airport services all main capitals in Europe. So you can fly from all of the European destinations. Rome, Amsterdam, Paris, so it's very accessible. Equally, students can fly to Dublin and get a bus, which is approximately 3 hours to UCC. I also wanted to mention, just in terms of employment in Cork City, to mention that it's known as the Silicon Valley, almost of of Ireland. We have 9 out of the 10 pharmaceutical companies are based in Cork, so huge employment where these companies take students from University College Cork. Apple have their European headquarters based in Cork, also Amazon, also Dell, so a very strong employment city that really leans on students of University College Cork for employment.
Colette, can you talk a little bit about your infrastructure in terms of libraries and laboratories and things like that?
Yes, so we have our dedicated Boole Library, named after George Boole, the first mathematician at University College Cork. So that is the largest library on campus, where there's different zones for students. There's a quiet zone where it's purely dedicated study space. There's also group workspaces, computers, so it's quite large, and it is open all throughout the day. Coming up to exams, it stays open until 12 midnight as well. So students really have full access to this. Within this library, we also have what's called a skill center. So this is a complementary service to students that helps students to write assignments, write their thesis. They'll help with other digital skills as well. So really all about, I suppose, succeeding at
Hmm.
academia. This skills center is there as complementary to students. We also have a second library, which is Brookfield Library, and again, this is located very close on the campus. In terms of laboratories, we have a wide number of labs particularly for our biology and science subjects, the engineering, all of those have dedicated labs. We also have marine energy and renewable energy labs. So a big focus all around geography, geology, zoology. So yes, there's dedicated labs for students when they apply.
Very, very nice. Very strong network to support students. Um, would you like to mention? We know you have a very comprehensive course offering, and we know students have so much to choose from. But in terms of your strongest points, would you like to mention specifically any faculty or course? Is that something you guys are better known for, or something that along those lines that would be worth mentioning?
Well, our College of Medicine and Health is really a real center of excellence for medicine. In fact, we have the highest very high retention within our medical students. So when they do start, they all stay to completion. And the reason is because they go into clinical practice quite early. They're also mentored by a senior medical doctor as well. So we have great success rates within medicine. Also, in terms of ranking, our School of Nursing is ranked in the top 50 in the world. So it's ranked number 41. So really, the students really get to go into hospitals as early as possible and to learn in the real world practice. And we also have an expansive range of public health programs as well, so pharmacy and public health, which is obviously a growing importance in these times. In terms of our College of Business, it's been recently accredited with the AACSB accreditation. So this means that the college is really in the top ranking of the business schools worldwide. And within our College of Arts, Celtic Studies and Social Science, which I am part of, we really do excel in, we have our School of Languages, Literature and Culture and our School of English ranked in the top 150 in the world. We provide dedicated work placement as part of the study. So as well as academically learning everything, students get to get real world experience as well through work placements. And within our College of Science, Engineering and Food Science, there's a huge, I suppose, broad spectrum of disciplines, and it is, STEM is really growing, through in Ireland, and UCC is a real driver in the STEM area.
Of course, would you get it and tips in terms of a strong application?
Strong application, the best thing is really to apply early. We always encourage students to apply early because spaces can be competitive. We do really operate with, having a good sized class where there's nice tutorial style seminars. So do apply early. Applications for medicine close in January of every year, so it's good to get the application in early. And for the other three colleges, the applications for masters open in mid-October, and then for undergraduate bachelor degrees they open in December. So it's the main thing is to have your language test up and ready, if you can have that, because otherwise you only get a conditional offer if we don't have your English test. So I would encourage all students, if they could, we accept IELTS, we accept Duolingo, TOEFL, so there's a wide variety of options. So I would, if students could prepare that, and then just a nice motivation statement as to why they want to study that subject. But we are on hand to help students, on every step along the way. We have a dedicated website, which is UCC Apply, and students just simply upload all their documents and their details to that. Students can also apply for 2 programs while as part of their application. So if they're uncertain which is their favorite, they can submit 2 applications.
Very nice. And again, it's never, we always reinforce over and over this idea of applying as early as possible. We know it's so important, and we really try to get that idea through to students, because it makes your life easier and it makes the whole process much less stressful. Next question is about your postgraduate programs, whether or not there's an age limit to those.
No we accept students of all ages onto our postgraduate programs. The majority of our masters are 1 year in duration, some may be 2 years. But in general, we look for a CGPA of 8 out of 10, if it's, or else a 7 out of 10. Some masters can be 7 or 8. But we also take into account prior learning experience, prior work experience as well. So for students, they don't have to necessarily have studied the exact subject that they want to pursue at masters. You know, we do consider their other qualifications as well. So it's always good to ask the questions before you submit your application.
Very well.
Yeah, so it's 1 year in duration, and yeah, we do have a real diverse range age bracket for students. So depending on what subject, you could have anything from a recent graduate to somebody who has been in the workforce that has gone back to study, and you know, that goes across a lot of different subjects. I know myself, we've had some students from Latin America going back to study international relations, also international public policy and diplomacy. So students may like to do a career change, and the masters will help them to achieve that.
We have, again, a question that comes back to applications, but it's, you mentioned already that for medicine school, it closes in January. But I think just to come back to that, just would you mention like the main deadlines that a student should be aware of?
Yes, our main deadline for masters is the end of around the middle to the end of June of every year. So for the upcoming September, our applications are now closed, but they do open again for September 23 in mid-October. So we would, that would be the main time is to apply in the autumn, so that you can get your a reply from the department as to the outcome of your application. But yeah, medicine do have an earlier deadline of January, and this is to facilitate interviews in February.
Okay, perfect. Talking a little bit about in terms of your scholarships, it's always a hot topic. Would you mention a little bit? And again, we know that changes from faculty, from course to course, but overall, is it something that students will find possibilities of scholarships for most courses?
So for all colleges, we do offer scholarships. So we know that it is a challenge for students to cover the finances of their study abroad, and you know, everything that goes into the cost of living. So within, for example, the College of Science, Engineering and Food Science, they offer a 25% scholarship to students. This is merit-based, and then for the College of Business, they offer a €3,000 scholarship for the students, which is very helpful. And also medicine do offer a scholarship around 4,000 as well. Within my college, we offer between either a 10% scholarship or a 20% scholarship, and it's based on merit, so based on their bachelor degree results. Students don't actually need to do, across all the colleges, students don't need to do anything extra. They don't need to write any other statement or application. The scholarships are automatically applied to their offer letter.
Oh, that's great. It's a simplified process, which is always welcome. And then we come to something you mentioned before, which is finding a job after your course. Would you talk a little bit about?
Yes, so 95% of our graduates go on to employment or further education.
Great.
upon completion. So we have a dedicated careers office in the university. So we always encourage students to engage with the careers office as soon as they join the university.
Mm-hmm.
The careers office will help with CV preparation. They'll also conduct mock interviews as well. Um,
Okay.
and they do have a database of employers, so they will have opportunities for students so that they can apply as soon as they are eligible to. So our dedicated careers office is all complimentary, and they're on hand to help students. So we encourage students to get in touch with the careers office early in the time. For all of the colleges that we do have work placement built into the masters. So this can be anything from 8 weeks to 12 weeks, and these are with dedicated employers that the university has close connections with.
Mm-hmm.
So students do, in the first semester, they do the academic theory, and the second semester, they go and do work placement. And as I said, we have great connections with the multinationals in Cork, but also in other parts of Ireland as well. So and many students do, if they are successful in the work placement, we do find that students stay on and go on to be full-time employment once they graduate with that company as well, because they have built a good rapport, they've built good experience, and upon graduation the company are delighted to take them on full-time.
Okay.
With studying abroad, international students, as part of studying in Ireland, there is a 2-year stay back visa, so students can work in Ireland for 2 years post graduation. If students wish to work part-time during their study, they can do that up to 20 hours during the term. If they wanted to do some part-time work.
It's always an important option for some students, so that's good to know as well. And Colette, still talking about post-study plans, do you offer any sort of support for students looking at entrepreneurship projects as opposed to finding a job? Is that something they can get support from the university as well?
We do have a dedicated centre for new startup companies, kind of incubator companies. So that is something that is growing in popularity at UCC. So there is a great support there for students who may like to, dedicate their time to a specific idea and lean on the university for support.
Colette, can we talk a little bit about the average price of education, and that will change? We know that on average, medicine courses is much more expensive and so on. But if you would like to talk about maybe range or maybe average price, that would be useful.
Yes, so within the College of Science, Engineering, Food Science, the masters can be roughly about 22,000. In medicine or business, they can be about 18 to 18,000, and in the College of Arts, they can start at around 16,400. Medicine obviously goes closer to between 36 and 40,000. So, but then you can take the scholarship off those prices as well, so they will reduce further. So yes, so it depends on, I suppose, the labs. The labs do take a little bit more cost, so that's why science is a little bit higher, whereas perhaps the humanities and social sciences are a little bit lower.
Right, that makes sense. And every price you mentioned is in euro, right?
Yes, it is in euro.
So
it goes
always,
up. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So it goes up slightly a little bit every year, but all of the prices are on, they're all displayed on the programs, whichever program the student is interested, they're fully displayed. What we do offer is that students can pay in installments, so they can pay their first installment in August, and then they can wait until January of the second semester to pay the second installment. To accept the offer, we do require a €1,000 deposit. That's just for the student to secure their place at the university. And in terms of, I suppose, living costs, we always say for students to allocate maybe about €11,000 just to cover, their campus accommodation, food, anything else, living expenses. But as I mentioned, students, if they wish, they can work part-time as well. There's great opportunities. As I mentioned, Cork is a big tourist city, very culturally vibrant, so quite a lot of opportunities as well if somebody wants to do some casual part-time work.
So €11,000 for a period of 12 months. Would that be the calculation?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so that's very reasonable, and I think overall we have different pieces of good news, if you will, because first of all, our students are normally used to British pounds. So as we talk about those prices, of course, those are in euro. That's the reason I reinforce that, because it makes it less expensive. And also, I think the fact that they can work with installments is always good news, and always welcome news, especially for students in Latin America, because they are used to installments. At least in Brazil, is a very, very common feature.
And
so that's great.
Cork, the university is in the heart of the city, so students don't really need to rely on public transport or buses or trains, because everywhere is walkable distance. So within 10 minutes, students can be at a different part of the city, and it's a very student-friendly city as well. So it doesn't have the high costs of a capital city, if you like.
All right. Well, you just answered my next question, which would be about living costs in Cork. I think you gave us a very good idea of what you recommend students in terms of when they're planning their budget. I think you just mentioned €11,000 consideration. You would like to share about that?
We have lots of different options in terms of accommodation. So we do have on-campus accommodation, so UCC owned accommodation. We also have private apartment blocks as well. And this year we have quite a number of new apartment student complexes that are just being opened for September of this coming year. So that would be the main cost for students. It can it can be about €240–250 per week for the accommodation, but as I mentioned, after that, students can, I suppose, walk everywhere, and they it's just more than their everyday living costs as well. And just to mention, within the accommodation, students get an ensuite room, and then they can share a communal area where they can make their own meals, which is obviously more cost effective than eating out.
Yes, no doubt about that. Yes. And in terms of students who come to Ireland with their families, do they have any option in terms of on-campus housing, or they would have to choose something outside?
If they're coming with their family, they can go through more private options. So there would be houses nearby where they can rent a house. The accommodation for the UCC owned accommodation or the private complexes are purely for students that are studying.
Right.
But there are plenty of options. We have a dedicated accommodation team and a dedicated website which outlines all the various options. But there are private rentals for students with, bring their family.
Talking a little bit about COVID, and I think we're all glad that the worst part is over. But specifically talking about UCC, are you still enforcing restrictions? What is the situation like right now? Is life completely back to normal or not yet?
Life is back to normal now. Students are in the classroom since early of this year, and there's no masks required indoors. So students are back, and yeah, they can at their discretion wear masks outside, but at the moment it's back into full operation on campus, teaching as it was prior to the pandemic. So everything is back to normal.
All right. We have nowadays so many students with different food requirements, non vegan or gluten-free and so on. So we get lots of students asking us about whether or not you have vegan options within your university restaurants and cafes and so on. How diverse is the choice of food?
Have a main restaurant which offers a wide variety of options if students really want a hot meal, or if students want more of like a sandwich, but there are vegan options as well available for students. So there's various different options in the main restaurants, and then we have lots of different cafes located throughout the campus as well. But yeah, there is quite a diversity, so there's something for everybody. And as I mentioned, Cork is a food capital of Ireland, so we do pride ourselves on local produce and really good quality food ingredients.
Okay, that's great. Students will be happy about their choices. All right, Colette, that was very nice. Thank you so much for being very clear and straightforward in terms of our questions. Thank you very much, Colette. We'll be in touch, and see you next time.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.